Hey guys, welcome back to Dogforge. My name's Paul. We're continuing our Mordenkainen Presents Monsters of the Multiverse series. This time we're taking a look at the Earth Genasi. So why don't you tell those daily agents at the front door to come back another time and let's get to it. So, similar to all the other Genasi, we are just using the old art. The old art for the Genasi wasn't bad, but it's a shame to not see new art in a book where they are asking you for the same amount of money. Quite frankly, and basically just rehashing existing content. But enough of that griping. Moving on, we have our new boilerplate standard changes for all of the new races. The ability scores have changed to +1 and +2 of your choice, or 3 +1s of your choice. This was originally a +2 Constitution and a +1 Strength for the Earth Genasi. Languages have changed to Common and a language that you and your DM agree is appropriate for your character and the campaign. This was originally Common and Primordial, the mother tongue of the elemental languages. And then everything else is basically you're a human unless we say otherwise. So as an Earth Genasi, you get the following traits. You are a humanoid. This is quite new for sizing, as before you were just medium by default, but you can now choose to be medium or small. Your walking speed is still 30 feet. This is exactly the same as how it was originally presented in the Elemental Evil Player's Companion. What is new here though is dark vision. Previously only the Fire Genasi got dark vision, however you gain 60 feet of it. Earthwalk is exactly the same, I believe. You can move across difficult terrain without expending extra movement if you're using your walking speed on the ground or a floor. This is actually made a little bit more friendly. So originally Earthwalk was you can move across difficult terrain made of earth or stone without expending extra movement. So just changing this to ground or floor makes it so that you can actually use this feature, even if it is a man-made floor, which is quite nice, a small buff or quality of life increase. We have a new take on Merge with Stone. Now, Merge with Stone was previously just getting to cast Pass Without Trace once per long rest without material components. We still have Pass Without Trace, however this has been bumped to 5th level, so you no longer gain access to it immediately from 1st level. However, you can now cast it with any spell slots of 2nd level or higher you may have from your spell slot having classes, which is a nice quality of life improvement. But the big thing, the big change that's really going to redefine the Earth Genasi in my opinion is the addition of the Blade Ward cantrip, and that's right, you weren't expecting Blade Ward, because Blade Ward normally sucks. However, you can cast Blade Ward a number of times equal to your proficiency modifier per day as a bonus action, which basically turns it into a pseudo rage-like defense. This is actually quite good, and falls in line with the only other time Blade Ward has ever been useful for anything, if you are a sorcerer with Quicken. With this, you will be able to take a absurd amount of punishment, provided you are not already a barbarian, by using, say, a fighter, paladin, or hey, a rogue, or if you wanted, a wizard, just by standing in place and taking the hits with your newfound and very limited resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. I will say that this is quite significant and works well with different classes, and that will segue over into what should you play as an Earth Genasi, and overwhelmingly I think there's a compelling case for Rogue here. You get access to Pass Without Trace, and if you're an Arcane Trickster you can cast it multiple times per day, though given the hour-long duration it shouldn't be too much of a problem if you just get it the once. Blade Ward is very nice in that it helps stretch your D8 hit die a little bit further, but it will also synergize quite well with Uncanny Dodge, meaning that you can reduce the damage by half and then resist it for further half if it's BPS. That's all very nice, and I would say the same works for a fighter. It's a little less compelling on a ranger overall, as you can have access to Pass Without Trace anyway, so it's really just saving you a spell known and giving you a free casting. I would focus on probably rogue or fighter, and if you're considering this on a barbarian, perhaps you want to increase their out of combat utility by getting your hands on Pass Without Trace, then there is still some value here. Bear in mind that perhaps you have Pass Without Trace up and you don't want to rage and end your concentration on it, or perhaps you are a multi-class barbarian or a lower level barbarian and you don't have enough rages to reliably rage in every single encounter. Blade Ward as a bonus action, even just 2-3 times a day in earlier levels, is going to help you feel more like a barbarian more throughout the day. You can use your resistances more often. This is going to be a little bit dependent on the person, as casting a spell to get resistance is very anti-barbarian, but I'm sure that you can fluff this in a more earthbendery kind of way. This is a pretty significant bump overall. The quality of life improvement of Earthwalk, the addition of Dark Vision, and just being able to cast Pass Without Trace more frequently. I would say that this is overall quite an improvement, and there's nothing here that I am particularly bothered by. I think this is a good change to the Earth Genasi. In an ideal world, I would have preferred a little bit of Tremor Sense instead of Dark Vision, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. So the only thing to really consider here, if you're choosing between the old version and the new version, is whether you want Pass Without Trace for the first 4 levels or you're happy waiting. Well, that's just what I think. What do you think about the Earth Genasi? Are you already planning your own tough life character? Are you steering clear of the new version and you prefer the old version for some reason? Let us know in the comment section down below. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, I've been Paul, and I'll see you at the Forge.